Welcome to Never Too Serious with Scott and Dave. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
Welcome back to the show, Dave.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here too.
It's funny how we get started with the show and then suddenly I get like technical difficulties and my computer freaks out.
Well, that's how it goes. You know, when we get started, everything's perfect and smooth. And then when we go, that's when it all happens.
That's right.
You know?
I know.
That means that we're a real deal.
It's my day job. That's constant. IT stuff sucks. So, hey, so we're talking about some scams today.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I'm a skeptical kind of guy, and I've fallen for stuff before.
I've been scammed, duped a couple times. Not a whole lot, but, I might have mentioned the time where I bought my wife a purse and I got scammed because I went on a website that was identical to the Coach's website, and I bought my wife this purse that you couldn't find anywhere else, and I found it. I was a hero.
Mm-hmm.
My wife took literally 2 or 3 seconds to look into the thing, and maybe it was all that paper stuff that she took out of it that had Chinese writing on it, but she was like, uh-oh. I'm like, oh, I sank. I thought I was a hero.
Yeah,
nope.
That's too bad.
Nope, it was too bad. But yeah, tell me, have you?
Yeah, so I think I've been scammed a few different times in some like bigger things like company stuff, but then this was like a little scam. My wife and I want to say that Ethan might have been with us at the time. We were down in San Francisco, and I hate driving in downtown anything.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate traffic. I hate having to find parking. And I will go straight to a established parking lot just to avoid any issues with me having to,
right, yeah.
I'll pay the money just to have a place that's relatively
maybe even
safe.
the first one.
Yeah, I'll even
3 times expenses. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I'll even walk a little ways if necessary.
It's okay. Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah, so we pull into this place. It's kind of down by the waterfront area, and there's this guy who's kind of directing traffic coming in, telling people which direction to go for parking. And I immediately made the assumption that this guy worked there. Yeah. And
I probably would have fallen for that too.
And so, I pull in one direction, and he kind of, he's like, no, come over on this side. And so he puts me in a different parking spot. And, granted, it was a better parking spot. And so I get out of the car, and he gives me this little ticket. And it wasn't like a super official, but he ripped it, gave me one half, he kept the other half, and I think it was like $10 parking.
It's like at least he gave you something that completed a transaction, to make you feel like it was legit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it turns out, of course, that I didn't even pay the machine. I paid the dude and didn't know that there was a machine. I'm in San Francisco. Right. I don't know how this stuff works.
Sure.
And so I go off, do our touristy stuff, walking around, whatever. And I come back, and there's a citation in my window. Yeah, because I didn't pay for parking. I paid what I thought was the attendant.
Well, right.
Yeah, and what ended up happening is I ended up getting a notification in my mail. So they went through the DMV, somehow figured out my address, my mailing address, and sent me a bill for this parking ticket. But fortunately, the parking ticket didn't have accurate information on it.
Oh.
And so I didn't end up having to pay it.
You just lucked out that way.
I absolutely did.
Wow.
But looking back at the scenario, because I was, I didn't think anything was wrong until I get back and see it.
See, now I'm going to screw up. I'm going to go downtown. Somebody's going to be standing there actually working there. I'm going to run them off. Get out of here, you damn. I got rid of him. He probably worked there.
Well, it's like those Amazon drivers that are delivering to your house and they're not wearing anything Amazon.
Right. That's happened a lot in the last few years. Yeah.
But there's like a special way that people can they do a little something to get your trust. And then if you're a relatively trusting person, you don't even think twice about it. It seemed like you got past the first hurdle. They looked official.
Well, not only you're driving downtown, but you're in a whole other state, something you're not even familiar with. So I would have the same issue going 20 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm trying to avoid conflict and trouble, and this guy provided that.
Now you got to sucker punch the next guy just for the heck of it, just in case.
Yeah, I just felt like, gosh dang it, I hate getting scammed by stuff. And like now I've experienced a few different types of I would say scams. And so I'm
You said
much
a few?
more, I think a few. I think I've been, I think, not technically, multi-level marketing is not technically a scam. Some get into some shady business dealings.
Well, I think a lot of the multi-level marketing thing is they've gotten out of it's not a scam thing by actually providing something.
Mm-hmm.
May not be really worth your time or money, but because they provide something, I think they get away with it. I knew one of the good scams was just cash on cash, and we did this, pyramid scheme. Yeah. We all knew it was a scheme. We all knew that somebody's going to get screwed out of it when somebody comes to bust you all out. This is years, like 20 plus years ago.
I want to say I remember being, I want to say it was in like high school or maybe early college years, and there's that going around Portland, and you knew about it at that time.
I knew some people that made some big bucks over a night, and then when it all shut down, and that's the whole problem with those. I'll just call it a scam, is what it was. Mm-hmm. Is that somebody's a loser. Mm-hmm. Somebody will always lose, because in the beginning it could be great, but somebody's going to get cut when it's over. And so there's a lot of people lost a lot of money, but there's a lot of people that won.
Did they call it friends helping friends? I want to say there's some little memory in my brain it made it sound like it was some people that were kind of like, they would get together, they'd give money to whoever the top person is, they'd split off. Yeah. It's the traditional pyramid scheme. Yep. And I want to say they called it friends helping friends.
In the 60s, when they said friends helping friends, it was a different game. But
that's true.
But yeah, that's what it was. In fact, the one that we knew about or played was, there was for the rich people and for the suckers like me, there was you had to get 2,000 in or 200 in. Well, the people that got 2,000 in, they had to bring people that would bring 2,000, and I think it all ended up being, everybody brings 2. I can't remember, but it puts you up to the pyramid, and those people get paid off for $16,000 in the night. Yeah. Some people could roll it twice in one night. A lot of cash in these places, and then the people with 200, I think they would get away with it, $6,000 or something like that. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it would. The more you bring in, and everybody will get their turn, but everybody knows when it stops, somebody's going to lose.
Yeah, someone's going to lose. So at some point, the base of that pyramid, all those people are losers.
Yep. So
well, and like with multi-level marketing, there's a business associated with it. It's the payouts. It's how you earn money that gets a little sketchy. And I think that the government has come out with some guidance about, you got to have a certain amount of sales, and you can't rely on a certain amount of your income from the people underneath of you making sales. You actually have to sell product yourself.
Right.
And
well, remember Amway back in the day?
Oh yeah, still around.
Right. But I think that they turned into more of a legit,
company sales.
I guess so. Mm-hmm. But they had a lot of that kind of marketing and I think they got thrown through the ringer a few times, but they had a lot of products that were good too, I guess. So, but they're still around because they were, they had some decent products, believe it or not.
Well, I think that in general, the products that they're selling are pretty decent products. I think that the price, like the sales price of them, that's what's overrated. A lot of the companies are producing something that costs a lot more through their organization than you would have to pay it, like Costco or, I don't know, Kroger or Fred Meyer or whatever.
Right. And I noticed a lot of them did, like Amway did a lot of cleaning supplies and stuff. But I noticed that a lot of it was always, everything was like, what's it, concentrate?
Yeah. Just add water?
Yeah. I know that there's only 2 ounces of powder in here. I know it's $180, but you could put this in 50 gallons of water and have the most powerful cleaning solution in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, hey, if you're listening on YouTube, put some comments about your experiences with multi-level marketing or direct marketing. Yeah. Because there are tons of them. And some people are going to be like, oh, it's fantastic, you can make all this money. And other people are going to tell you, oh, it's the biggest scam ever.
Well, I mean, there's so many other ones, like am I going to get this right? I thought I had it in my head, but there's the place that sells the candles, and then there's the Pampered Chef, and those are tiered like that too, but they also sell a lot of products. Yeah. They're expensive, but some of them are pretty cool. I will have to agree. I
was in a company called Monavie.
Oh yeah.
And it was really about, it was a drink. It was in concentrate form, like you were saying, and it provided like a certain amount of antioxidants.
Yeah, it was
for your
wine
health.
without the alcohol. Good luck selling that.
They would have it in these beautiful wine bottles, and they were getting acai, a special
berry.
Yeah, special grade of acai that had some scientific studies that kind of backed up how potent it was, and then they had like different variations as the company kind of grew. They grew into other acai-based products, and then they went into the weight loss industry, and they started doing like meal replacements and that sort of thing. Now, their products were good, and I really enjoyed their products. The problem is they were very expensive.
Very expensive, yeah.
And the way that they were doing their business was, it was really focused on recruitment.
Right. And most of these are like that. Don't forget what you're going to say is they have their products. That's one aspect of the business. And then, which seems more important, it's the bringing the people in part of the business. And this could be just fine. Who really cares about all that after a while? But that was the huge part of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they were pushing that you would get more and more people into the business. Their payout program was pretty lucrative. There were a lot of people making a lot of money. But the problem is that you, as a distributor, had to have a certain number of sales in order to be still considered a legitimate, business entity. And that was where the problem was, because you would not only have to sell expensive product, but now you've got to convince other people that by getting into the business, that this expensive product, you're also going to have to, direct sell. And that is really difficult, especially for people who, number one, don't have money for startup. Number two, are not natural like sales type of people, or have a network of people who are interested in that sort of stuff.
And how about this? Also, when people start up, they start up with the people they know, people that are local, and then guess what? The people that you know, that they know the same people.
Yeah.
So they're either trying to tap in the same people so they're run out of people.
That's exactly right.
And so it makes it harder to, fly into the next town and hang out there for a couple of weeks and hit the streets, Back in the day, that's kind of what people did, in the back of your vehicle's trunk, you carry your products and you go from door to door to door, go to the next city, you might only sell, one out of 30 houses, but that's what you do.
Yeah. I had a lot of people that were distributing underneath of me, and I was making a little bit of money, but the company ended up selling out to another company, and it is, the name of it escapes me at this moment, but I almost had it. But they sold out, and all of those distributors, million distributors or however many they had, went over to this new company. And that was kind of my opportunity to just be done and get out of it. Now, I did make a lot of great friends through networking through other people, and I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about sales. I learned a lot about direct marketing, multi-level marketing, and enough to realize how much of the recruitment and the excitement that people kind of fall for in that sort of industry. I'll give you a case in point. I went to a big old conference in Salt Lake City, which is where a lot of these companies actually are based. I'm not sure, maybe it's some special exceptions in the laws if you exist out there. But I went to this big old conference. They spent a lot of money on this thing. It was very flashy. The mood lighting, the music, the decorations. Oh man, it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. It's like going to one of those big like religious born again sort of
seminars.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Everyone's really excited, and you can feel like the energy. But the whole thing is designed like that. And even though the company said that they weren't a religious company, everyone who was there had some religious connections. They were praying on stage. I want to say that the head owner of it was, I think he was Mormon, and some of the other people that he had in his executive team were also Mormon, and so there was a lot of like religious connotations inside of it. But people ate it up.
Sure.
There was like church services before the main conference started. Yeah, they would use
I'm shocked they did that.
Yeah, it was a lot of energy. But if you think about it, even in these other companies, they do the same thing where they're trying to really get people inspired. They tell these stories of success.
Yep.
And
have you ever been in a timeshare? Try to do
no, but
I've
been to some of those spiels. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I've been through a few of them just to get. I'm the guy
free
that goes,
stuff.
nope, 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 nope. I'll take all that stuff you promised though, and they when it's time to give you that crap, they're not happy about it because you didn't sell. But they have people with champagne popping, and I personally believe that they have staged people in there because it always seems like there's somebody there popping the cork. And I think they're staged to hope to get the enthusiasm up, and if somebody else is doing it, you don't want to miss out. Come on, guys, get in that timeshare, man. Everybody's doing it. I know it's cheaper to just go get your own show, but to do your own thing. But I don't know.
It's true though. They use the same level of energy in the timeshare spiels.
Some people even do that when you're buying a car.
Oh yeah.
Because when you're about to get screwed, they're trying to like brush it over. It's not you're not getting screwed. You're trying to do the Jedi mind trick. Yeah. Okay, it still hurts when I'm sitting though. But it's always all that glam and flash to keep you away from, aka essentially the truth.
Yeah. Well, looking back on my experience, I have a certain level of respect for people who can hustle no matter the industry that they're in. But I think that all the things that I learned about it, even though the legal questions that go into these companies are pretty strong, I look back at it and I go, I'm glad that I had the experience, but I'll never do multi-level marketing again because I understand every time I've looked at a company, and I looked at quite a few at that time, they all have the very similar structure.
Sure.
Different payment plans, but when you're looking at the people who are selling, the products that they're selling, and the people who are going to become your potential customers and distributors, it's all the same model.
There's a form that you have, and it's like, okay, this is how we do it. Just apply product here, and you sell this and get people it. I mean, it's the same thing, just different products all the time. And some of it is more successful depending on some of the products they have. But, from weight loss plans to, I mean, my gosh, anything, really.
And again, some of the products are good. I'm not dogging on some of the products because I think that in many cases they're good. I just think that the model that they're using to push it, there's some flaws in that.
When you're sitting there and you're looking at, buying some Tupperware or whatever the hell they're selling, and then you're looking through their book, and then you're like, wait a minute, why are you pressuring me to join? I'm willing to buy your product, but when the pressure is more to join the sales team, that's when I'm like, man, I got too many other things going on. And in order to make it successful, you have to drop everything. Everything. And I'm not saying that people can't be, but guess what? Rarely are they successful for a long period of time. And
the amount of money that they've invested in, sometimes they never get it back.
Yeah, you might be better off just going to Vegas.
Yeah.
At least you get I don't know, either way you're going to learn something. Like I've done a couple through, my wife has done some things, but we kind of base it on products we kind of like at least, so we could get discounts on the products and stuff. But I've done enough to appreciate that I learned not to do it.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
It's not my thing either.
It could be for some, but.
And I felt like I gave it a good go during that time. But I think there are certain parts of my personality that I don't know if it's just, I feel guilty at different times for different practices that they encourage you to do. But again, I think some of their products are fine. There was a little documentary on, I think it was Amazon and maybe some other ones, Lula Rich. Is that sound familiar?
Well, it's rung a bell.
Well, so LuLaRoe is a direct marketing company, and they sell. Originally, it was like women's clothing, and then it moved into like the tights, like the yoga pants.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, you have no idea.
I've never heard of that brand then.
Yeah. And
stop and look at the commercials for long periods of time.
Well, this documentary, I think, is great. It's like I want to say it's like a 5-part series. It could be others, but they've been in some legal hot water, and the way that the documentary kind of outlines the company, it's very good. I think they do a pretty decent job of showing the good and the bad within their organization.
With yoga pants, that's easy to do.
Well, it cracks me up. Some of the yoga pants
He said crack. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, some of the yoga pants that they had printed out or made had certain symbols in areas that would be near cracks, and it was really funny to see the social media outcry about these print patterns where someone wears them and in their crotch area.
It's ridiculous. Like you have a gal, and I'm a happily married guy, and I try not to like veering off at a gal that walks by, but when people like a chesty woman wears a tight T-shirt that says "Don't look here," I'm like, oh, it just said "Don't look there," and I looked.
Damn it!
Why do that?
I know.
I know why. Those bastards.
Yeah.
They're trying to get us divorced.
Well, I think in some cases they're trying to like spice up your marriage.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Because when your wife starts wearing these things around the house, your mindset changes and you forget about doing other things. And of course, then they know that this is what's going on in your brain, and then they,
damn scam.
It's right. You feel like it's been a scam. But the company itself, they went through a massive growth. I mean, massive growth. These women, these part-time sellers became full-time sellers and selling a lot of product, and it became very, very popular. I know that there's some LuLaRoe stuff in my house, and they got to the point where they had issues with their supply, and they were starting to bring in product that had been sitting outside in like moisture, and like they were delivering product to their distributors that were really low quality, smelling musty, stained, holes, material that was starting to degrade quickly. And the company didn't really support their distributors fully in trying to remedy these problems, let alone all of the other direct marketing issues that you run into, which, we were talking about the big conferences, and how they go and they get all excited. Oh yeah, they existed in LuLaRoe as well. But I think the company still exists, but they've been sued. I want to say the state of Washington was one of the major lawsuits.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember the entire details, but just in direct marketing or multi-level marketing, or what other names do they call it? Direct selling. There might be another term. But those companies,
pyramid.
Yeah. Well, that's what, the people who don't like them call them, pyramid scheme companies.
Well, that's what they used to call them until they got a bad name to it.
Yeah, well, and the feds came in to improve some of the laws that surround
scam.
That stuff,
Speaking of scams, holy crap.
Yeah, government, there's a scam for you.
Jeez, taxes, scam, Santa Claus, scam, marriage, scam. Oops, keep moving.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
Well, here's another one. Before you get on, here's another one. There's so many people out there who have been scammed on Subway. Subway, it was selling these footlongs for all these years, and they've only been 11 inches. Only 11 inches. So, and I know that, I think it was ABC that put out there that, because they looked into it, because it was that important, that, it was part of their
investigative
sales,
journalism.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what they're giving. That's what they're willing to give their all for or towards. And but it was part of their sales. What do you call that? Their sales pitch, if you will. But but you can't be holding them to it. I'm like, so like these people that sell like hot air balloons, do you like expect that there's hot air in the damn balloons? I mean, but if they say if it's a foot long, you should expect that you're going to get a freaking 12-incher. It was ridiculous. I've never measured one, but when somebody did, I'm like, well, hold on. I'm not going to go buy one, but the next guy that comes out that door, I'm going to go like, let's check it out. But it's kind of embarrassing, I would think, for them. Like, how about to say it's about a foot long?
Yeah. I mean, it's marketing.
Well, to be fair, I know that you can't get every loaf of bread to be exactly the same. Or can you? I think you could at least get a little closer. But anyways.
Well, bread rises, so who knows what the amount of growth there might be in that foot long. But
at least throw in a little bit of meat on the sides.
Yeah.
But.
Or maybe it's just the packaging. Once it's all wrapped up, then it's a foot long.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's what they should have gone
with.
They
should have said that.
Yeah, with foot long packaging.
No, but little things like that. It might not seem like a scam, but when advertisements, a lot of advertisements truly are essentially scams. I mean, I think there was a I mean, to get you to sell the product. So it may not seem like it's a scam, but it really is. Like, I think Downy back in and if I have the brand wrong, I apologize. Don't care. But I think it was Downy that had, I think there was 2 stacks of towels in a commercial.
Oh, yeah.
And they had bubbles that come down. One would bounce, one would pop. Well, if you looked in on it, you could see a needle pop out of the freaking, and it was well known. Everybody talked about it. I'm like, oh, you popped the bubble, man. Everybody knows the bubbles bounce on everything, but that's trying
funny.
to scam people, saying that our product's better than theirs because, and that's a scam. I mean, it might seem little, but it really is,
Well, you kind of, as a consumer, kind of feel like you've been scammed. The pictures of every fast food restaurant and their burgers, and then you go and you actually buy one, and
you
it's
unwrap
like,
it looks like wet toilet paper or
yeah,
something.
it's like, it's like, oh, come on.
This burger is like 4.5 inches tall, and you get this inch smashed, disgusting, dry mess. Oh,
yeah.
So bad.
It is so bad. And I know it's part of marketing, and there's some stuff that the government steps in and says, oh, you can't really do that. And then other areas, it's like, oh, we're just, we're not guaranteeing every product to look like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like when they say it's beef. And is it though?
Yeah.
Do we know? How can we tell?
Yeah. There's a famous sort of scam, or in this case, scheme, the Ponzi scheme.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit earlier about this idea that, people would come in and put $200 towards the group, and then the people at the top would leave with a whole bunch of money.
Sure.
Yeah. It's a Ponzi scheme. And the original guy, Charles Ponzi, it's named after him, but this scam has been going on for a long time. And what you got to experience was just people knowing that it is,
right,
and hoping that they're not at the bottom of that thing,
right. And I think that was more successful when everybody just knew, we're not going to sell you anything. Let's just let this thing go as much as possible.
Yeah, that's funny because when you're aware of it and you think, okay, well, it's still early in the scam, so let's
do it.
Let's do it.
I mean, it's a risk. I mean, I've made taken more risks in, I don't know, working 9 to 5, man. I mean, sometimes it's worth to throw a little in and see if you get a little out,
Well, Ponzi, his original thing was he noticed, he like when you're mailing a letter way back in the day, I want to say is this 1800s maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, when you're mailing a letter, sometimes there's this coupon for return, like stamp amount. And depending on which country it's coming from, the postage costs different. And he noticed that between these different countries, that there's a discrepancy in how much that actually is. Oh. And so he created this scheme that required some investors to buy postage from one country and then use it in another country because you can make a whole bunch of money on the difference.
Oh.
Now, back in the day, we're talking, how did people get from one continent to another? Well, shipping. And that took a lot of money and a lot of time. And so this whole thing wasn't a practical method of making money, but he didn't tell his investors that. And so he basically pocketed this investment money, and then he would pay out from that account to these people as a way to show that this investment was paying off. Now, does that sound familiar with any more modern?
Sure. I can see where they call them all Ponzi schemes.
Bernie Madoff.
Ooh.
He's a more famous one. He's in prison for I want to say more than one life sentence. In fact, I don't know. I'm wondering because I haven't even looked into what his current status is. Did he die in prison?
I don't know.
Holy cow! I should probably look that up. Wikipedia is a good source for this, right?
Maybe for this.
You
can trust in that.
Yeah, let's see what the Google says. He died April 14 of 2021.
So he's still with us.
They are like Epstein.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, so wow. Funny. So just recently then, really?
Yeah, and Bernie Madoff, he was known as like this big time investor. Anyone who knew anything about investing knew that if you put your money in Bernie, you would get a big return. He never lost. My English.
It's funny because I followed along just fine.
Yeah, so he got in trouble because this was, I think, in 2008 where the market was starting to go like bad.
Yeah.
Going south.
Yep.
And he was still paying people out. I want to say it was like a 12% gain.
Really?
And he had, I want to say it was over $1 billion.
Man,
let's see, $64.8 billion. That's a lot of money. And turns out he didn't really do investing. It was getting investors to give him money. He would put it into a huge account, and then he would pay out these 12% increases. And of course, he'd take off whatever was necessary for his own, living.
Of course.
But he kept getting more and more people to participate in this scheme. And he got in trouble as the 2008 crash happened, and he started getting this account running a bit low. And eventually he fessed up to his kids and his wife, and his two sons, worked for him in his business, and they made the claim that they didn't know.
Yeah, how would you not be able to know that?
Well, the news says, they worked in different departments.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. But the two kids ended up having to basically turn him in. And I want to say that they probably did it just to save face.
That's what I was thinking. That was,
Oh yeah, I didn't know anything. I didn't.
Yeah, my dad bust him, not me. Yeah. Threw him under the bus.
Yeah, and one of them ended up at a later time committing suicide.
Ooh.
And then the other son
sounds like guilt.
Yeah, and then the other son, I think, died of like cancer or something. And so the wife is the only one still around, and she made claims
like she didn't know about it either.
Yeah, but I guess she wasn't very popular in the circles that she ran in.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of money. I mean, $64 billion in scams.
Is. Yeah,
think about all those people who, and think about a 12% gain is really. That's a good gain in the stock market.
Yep, absolutely.
And people invest in the stock market, well, at least most common folk do, as part of their retirement. So think about how many people didn't get to retire as they thought that they were going to retire because of this.
Devastating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people, put all their money into it in hopes that, that they're going to be the winners.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know that they're just getting screwed over by somebody is what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super sad.
There's no real outcome there.
Yeah, but Bernie was the chairman of the NASDAQ. Like, he was well known, and for people not to know that he'd been doing this since, I think they said, like the 70s potentially.
Oof.
That's a long time to be running a successful scam. That's amazing.
Must be good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of broken lives right there.
Yeah, definitely. It's to me, that's an amazing accomplishment to be able to pull that off. I mean, it's too bad all the people that
there are so many scams out there going on, even just today. Not just how many there's ever been. You can't even count them. I mean, there's so many. We even talked about or I don't know if we've talked about, but there was the lottery scams international that you get a phone call saying that, hey, you won the lottery. Mind you, some of these people should know that I never even played that lottery. So, you win a lottery in a different country and it's $3 million, but in order to get the money to pay the taxes and the fees to get it to cross the lines, if you will, they have to pay like $3,000 or a certain percentage of that money, and people pay it, and then they go, well, where's my lottery money? Well, you're too stupid. That's what you get.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear it? I think it's hailing right now. That's pretty loud.
Yeah. We must have struck a nerve.
Yeah.
It's and on that note, there was also the black money scam.
Tell me about that.
Well, there's a couple other names for it, but there was a scam saying that there is some money that has been, like I can't remember if it was like in a heist or something, but you could pay the money to get this. Here, let me see if I can find it here real quick.
Sure.
The black money or money cleaning scam is, I'm going to read this. This is here, let's go with ripandscam.com. Black money scam, black money or wash. These scammers claim to include a huge supply of dollar bills which have been treated with black dye to cover that it is currency. If treated with the chemicals, the money will be cleaned up and curved into genuine money. And they'll have pictures of it. And they'll even have show that, look, see, we're washing it off. And people dive in. You know,
some people are very gullible.
I don't know how.
Maybe naive.
It's one thing to, I'm going to go use you and me here.
Mm-hmm.
You pulled up to a place of business. Somebody was standing there. They said, hey, right here. They give you a little something. That's all it really takes to show a transaction was created. You feel good. You go on. I looked up a Coach store and found a completely, as far as I know, perfect. I even showed my wife both side by side that look the same. You know, so it's some things are easily to be duped. But come on, are you kidding me? It's insane that some of these people are going, well, wait a minute, I won a lottery. It's $35 million. Oh, sweet. And I never even paid that dollar for, I never played the lottery.
Never entered that lottery.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So it's come on, we've got to be better than that. I know it would feel great, but so would that dollar still be in your pocket and not be, there's people that have went along with these and even found out that they've been scammed. Mm-hmm. They still go on because their mental state is
they've committed
trying
this
to
far.
Save face somehow.
maybe there's a chance that it is real.
Maybe they'll get their money back, or maybe I'll re-scam the scammers. Or,
yeah, right. Like they're gonna get scammed in return.
Right.
It's hard to actually, pull that off.
Yeah, because they don't have any money to be sending you. Mm-hmm. Like if somebody says, "Hey, you need to send us money, but only on Target gift cards," and if you, they do that.
I know.
And they go,
"Oh my god.
Okay, I'm going to go do it."
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I watch these guys that scam scammers, or they don't scam scammers, but they screw around with scammers, and they just mess with them. And they'll even say, "Okay, hold on, I'm going to take you with me." I'm going down to the store. And I think that we're getting Target gift cards, and they're just saying, "Okay, we're doing this and doing all this," and they're playing along. Mm-hmm. And then they get mad at them when they say, "Sucker, I'm not going to give you any money." And they get pissed off, "How dare you waste my time?" I'm like, "Are you kidding? I would punch you in the mouth if you were sitting in front of me. Are you kidding me?" It's the nerve of these people. Mm-hmm. It's insane. But I guess if it pays off, I was trying to look it up in the U.S. There have, just last year, I looked up, it was billions of dollars just last year in scams in the United States alone has paid out. Mm-hmm. And that's embarrassing, especially with the knowledge of everybody talking about it. Be aware. There's so many of scam awareness, out there that.
Think about the phishing scams on email.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are easy. Yeah. They're easy to.
It's easy to fall for it, especially if you don't. Well, okay. There's a certain stage where maybe an older adult is kind of new to technology, and so they have this this unknown, this uncomfortable partnership with technology. And when someone sends them an email, it's as if someone just said hello to them on the street or sent them snail mail, and they will respond. It's like, you don't have to. You can ignore that. I mean, if you set off red flags in your brain.
Right. Well, here, I'm going to tell you this. I found this. Sure. So CNBC, you trust this? Sorry. Americans lost $29.8 billion to phone scams alone. Just phone scam. Last year, nearly 1 in 3 Americans say they've fallen victim to a phone scam in the past year. Here's this to talk about. This doesn't show you how many. It shows a graph, but it doesn't show you the levels. But in 2021, 2021, yeah. So here's this. This shocked me a little bit because this shows the age. Because I thought the old people got jacked around a lot more. Mm. So it shows that males, we fall for most of it all. Women, not so much. But again, this is in CNBC. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Don't care if I did. I'm shocked they get it right. So they showed that the levels of people that get scammed the most are ages 35 to 44, and 65 plus is the lowest.
That's a really interesting stat.
You should check it out.
Yeah,
but that's the age group.
I'm curious. So I
thought for sure the older group was really getting hammered by this.
Well, I think about younger kids that are now adults, and they're moving into the world, and they don't have much experience in the world and how stuff works. And I would imagine that age group would suffer from these sort of things more often. those stats say no.
Yeah, right. In fact, it's the people that you would think are more established, more maybe want to hold on to what they got, are going, what you got? Well, that sounds interesting. Let's do it. Yeah.
I'm curious if it's the drive during that age group to be successful.
It could be.
To be
or
making
are they
money
just so damn busy? They're like, what? Okay, sure. All right, we'll try that. Oh, crap. It just cost me 3 times. I don't know.
That could be true too.
I don't know.
Well, you know that a lot of people who come into like professional sports and they start making money, a lot of money right away, they kind of blow through it. They trust a lot of people who can kind of scam them out of that money.
Yep.
I'm curious
rap
about
artists, I'm just using this, I'm sure a lot of musicians too, but I'm just because they were loud and vocal about it, at least a lot of rap artists got screwed over by their company or their
the production
and they were almost like not making anything. And a lot of athletes, there's the bigger the money is, the more the take.
The email scams and pop-up scams and stuff that's on the internet. I see that a lot in my particular industry.
They're not just trying to get your money these days. Now it's your identity.
Oh yeah.
So there's scams because it's like, well, what's that going to get me? Well, it's not. They're not necessarily trying to get your bank account. They're trying to get you. Your identity. So I mean,
sometimes that's more valuable.
Yep. Apparently.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes just getting access to your shopping habits and where you go, what you do. I mean, sometimes turns out that someone else is you.
Yep.
And you get screwed over.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your credit goes down the tubes, and there's all kinds of stuff. So
every single thing out there, I think there's a scam that could be involved in it.
Yeah.
From churches, they've been known to scam people. Certain churches.
It does bother me. Because again, I'm not a religious guy, but I think that churches can do a lot of good things for the population, and there are pastors who scam their people, their followers, and sometimes they're like the really big names, but then there are those others that are small and they go from one congregation or one church to another and they scam along the way.
Yep,
and it's too bad.
They take people's passions, and if it's not, their trust and love in God, it's their nest egg for their future and their families. I mean, they take, everybody's last little bit.
Folks, go back to the YouTube episode, or I guess even on Spotify. We have an episode on the televangelist scammers. Oh. I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where Robert Tilton has a run-in with John Oliver, and John Oliver uses his show to basically go along with Robert Tilton's church for donating money, and it's the whole idea that if you plant a seed, that God will then bless it and you'll have a harvest. And so that church got a bunch of money from John Oliver, and he went through, he told his audience about that experience, and it's hilarious. It is really funny. So definitely go back out and look for that episode. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but anyway, so there's a whole bunch. I mean, we were looking through this list, and swindlers sell the Brooklyn Bridge.
I mean, these scams have been around so long that they have terms that we use, like, well, I got a bridge to sell you then, if you believe that. It's all about big scams that got a lot of people,
Yeah.
I mean, think about the stars. You want to buy a star? I'll sell you a star.
The star registry?
Yeah. And I bet you if we grab our stars, what is the same damn star? That's not, I know. And who sells a star?
Yeah, who's going to really care?
Maybe I should start selling a star. Is somebody going to say, oh, that's not yours to sell? Whose the hell is it? Because somebody's doing it legitimately.
Think about it like historically. If the United States is not, the big power that it is today in, let's say, 100 years, and we're like, any of the the Byzantines or, the Romans and they did the same, register a star in your name. Who's going to really use that as an authority? Oh yeah, that star belongs to,
right.
And that seems ridiculous.
That's why I'm going to find a nice place on Mars, and I'm going to just say it out loud and get it, authenticated that I claim that.
Yeah.
Because now what are you going to do? Say it's not mine?
Didn't China do that recently?
Damn it.
I thought that they claimed a big old swath of land.
They probably did, and they probably grabbed the whole damn thing. Am I too late?
Yeah, until the Russians and the Americans came in. They said, no, you can't have that, but you can have this area.
Well, I'm pulling Venus. Nobody's talking about Venus then.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm just taking the whole planet. Nobody says I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, old scams of the West, when America was kind of expanding out to the West. Lots of scams going on back then. I don't
know if it was a scam or not, but people used to shave off their silver or gold, shave it all off, and everything was weighed out, and then shave it off, and then pass it like it's still the same value.
Yeah,
that's why we put all those ridges in them now, so you could tell if they've been shaved off.
Oh, interesting.
So they used to scam people all the time by not giving them this full value,
full silver,
full weight.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of them on here. Quiz show scandals. Oh, did you see that one? I think it was The Price is Right, where that guy had insider information about the right bidding.
I did see that, but I can't remember that much about it, but I did watch that.
Yeah, I can't remember that story exactly, but
yeah, it's like, how'd you know that was $6.19, huh? How did you know that? Because everything differs in every state.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say he was on the show a few times, wasn't he?
Maybe.
Yeah. Catching Frank Abagnale Jr.
I don't know anything about that.
Catch Me If You Can is a movie with,
Leonardo
DiCaprio. And he played Frank Abagnale.
How did I not recognize his name? Because I know about the story for sure.
Yeah.
I just didn't recognize the name at all.
He's an interesting one because, he was a big-time scammer, fake checks, fraud, all this stuff, and a lot of fake aliases. And
see, that's
Catch Me If You Can is an interesting movie because it does follow a lot of his experiences.
Yeah, and he was a winner on the end.
Yeah, well, then, was it the FBI?
Yeah, he worked. Well, no wonder why.
Hired him?
Well, sure, that does make sense now. 30 years later, we're like, huh. Yeah. Yeah, is that how they all get their jobs? Just kidding, guys.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
A massive manhunt ended with his capture in France in 1969.
That was a great movie, too.
Yeah. I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
DiCaprio, I think he played a really good.
Him and Tom Hanks were a really good pair.
Yeah, good pair. Yeah. Gosh, what else is on here? There's a whole bunch that I don't recognize, though.
Well, I'll tell you, we talked a little bit about selling cars. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to use the exact number because I don't know, but, when you buy a brand new car off the
lot?
Mm-hmm. It devalues like 30% right when you drive off the lot, give or take some, it's like, gosh, it's not fair because, I don't know I can't remember the whole story about it, but in America anyways, you can't buy a brand new car, but off of a lot. Mm-hmm. It's just set in stone. I can't remember the story, but that's how it has to be. Mm-hmm. And
I think the exception might be like Tesla now. I think Tesla does direct from the factory selling, which is unusual because we've in this world of car selling, everything has some sort of dealer,
right?
And they sell it for the manufacturer. But Tesla I think they're pretty direct from the manufacturer.
Well, hell, they'll probably just deliver it to your front door, too.
They do, from the internet. You can order the whole car online and have it delivered. It's definitely a different model. Here's one. We were talking about religion.
Is that Tammy Faye?
I think so. Praise the Lord Ministries. I'm gonna read this one, but I gotta put it on the screen in front of my face because I can't read that far away.
I dated somebody that was related to her.
Did you really?
I did. I'm not going to say who it was for several reasons.
So in 1988, televangelist Jim Bakker was indicted on federal charges. The final demise of what had been the biggest Christian radio and television empire on earth. Whoa. Jim Bakker and his wife, Tammy Faye, had been bilking their supporters, viewers, investors. In fact, a fact that came out only in the wake of a far more salacious scandal after Bakker paid church secretary turned actress Jessica Hahn nearly $300,000 to keep quiet about a sexual affair.
That's big money back then.
And it was there was some consensual dispute there. That makes it worse. The public learned about the financial scam, and Baker landed a 45-year sentence, which was later reduced to 8 years.
Because he couldn't keep it in the pants.
Yeah. It's funny. At the end here, it says he now hawks doomsday prepper equipment online. I might have to look that up. Now I'm curious. I'm going to go off topic here.
I'm not sure if it's going to work for you, but might get some good deals. Might be a steal.
Yeah,
literally.
But it's it's funny though. I think it's not funny. It's too bad that religion is a place for that sort of thing.
It seems like that they really go after, and I get it. It's the mindset. Go after people that are down or in desperate need and are reaching out for something. It's like, let's take your very last little bit. And they have no heart. I mean, it's crazy when you see you could be turning on any time right now. You go to your cable access and flip it to one of those shows, and you see a gentleman that has a freaking $25,000 watch on. Because look, you'll see them a lot. And I'm like, show me a pastor at a church that could even afford I don't know, the stainless steel Rolex. They don't. And then what pastor that follows Christ? I don't know, you could have some fancy things, but they're typically a humble people.
Yeah.
They typically give back.
They're supposed to be
take like $5,000 suits, jet airplanes. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, every human is flawed in some way, but these people are supposed to be the model of Christ, for their congregation. They're supposed to be, the person they look up to.
Right. And people
follow.
Want to support what they believe in, and they think that these people are strong believers in a pathway to be closer to God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sad. Yeah, it's too bad. I think we're running out of time. What do you say we wrap it up? Anything else? Any other scams on your top of your list?
It's just crazy that we could probably keep going for 3 days and not cover all the scams. There's so many scams. I know that there's a lot of old past scams, but I feel that they're just the same ones, just reinvented into something else. They're like, what was the first one? One of the first ones you talked about, the Ponzi scheme.
The Ponzi scheme, yeah.
There's a reason why. Did the Ponzi scheme know he was involved in a Ponzi scheme? I mean, it was named after a guy.
Did he know that the whole thing would be named after him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He should have. You know what? Too bad he didn't get anything out of that. Because it's he named it.
Yeah, he should get royalties from all
royalties.
The other
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. But no, I think that's about it. It's we should come up with our own scams.
Well, you know what? I think this is such a broad topic. We could probably focus in on a few others that were in a little bit more detail. But maybe comment in the comment section and say, hey, cover such and such scam, and we'll look into it.
Let us know some of them that should have been obvious that we talked about that we missed on. Because there are so many that we overlook some. But
well, we did post a short clip on YouTube about the dinar, Iraqi dinar.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll come back and revisit that because the comment section blew up.
Well, real quick, because you were a little bit involved in that too yourself. So we should have talked about that too.
Yeah. I got to be part of it by proxy, I guess. Maybe if that makes sense. I wasn't involved in it, but
I thought you were straight.
I received some. I received some benefit, maybe side benefit to that, but.
Again,
and I'll leave it at that. We'll cover that one on another show. All right. Find more information on our website
at never2sayers.com.
Find some swag, some merch on there. That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
And find us on social media at the NTS Podcast, Twitter, Gettr, Parler,
Spotify.
And you can find the podcast on Spotify and pretty much wherever you find the podcast.
Yep.
So, all right, until we see you next time, take care.
And be safe.